Hello, my name is Nader Ibrahim, my age is 24, I have graduated in Dar al Uloom Cairo University, and I'm going to introduce myself through my work experience. First of all, I've graduated for 2 years and then I worked as a salesperson for two brands called Israr and Concrete, and both of them are well known, and I think that my experience is not different as it might seem, because working as a salesperson, as I've just mentioned, has given me a chance to work with different types of customers, and that probably will help me in the kind of job, and that's what I hope. And I'm going to talk about customer service in general. First of all, any customer wants us to be treated with dignity and respect, and we should make it as a point and pay close attention to the way we treat our customers, because our real and main objective is how to make our customers feel appreciated and satisfied and consider our company as the greatest one we have ever known. And to provide such a great and exceptional customer service, we have to be already knowledgeable with all of these basics: first impression, courteous treatment, and positive attitude, and all of these basics contribute to provide great customer service. So let's talk about each one of them. Let's talk about first impression. First impression includes clothing, tone of voice, and non-verbal communication. Clothing means that I can wear appropriate clothes and make sure that my overall image is professional, because the appearance is the first thing the others will notice about me, especially the customers. And then tone of voice. Tone of voice means that I can choose the right words and use them in their correct form, and choose the right tone of voice, because the wrong tone of voice and the wrong emphasis may cause a problem, and may cause a problem between me and the customer. And I have to add welcome words like definitely, absolutely, certainly, because all of these words will show the customer that I am truly interested in talking to him. And then non-verbal communication skills. And one of these non-verbal communication skills is to smile, and that means that I can smile from time to time, or as often as appropriate, trying to show the customer that I am truly interested in talking to him. And that means that I can smile as naturally as I can, because the customer who is on the other end will discover that my smile is natural or forced, is natural or phony. And then to completely shape the whole image of first impression, we can add these points: grammar, usage, and then questions. Grammar usage, in regard to that point, grammar usage means that proper grammar is essential to effectively communicate, and that means that we can choose the right words and use them in their correct form, and use them grammatically. It's trying to make our speech or our talk clear, and to try to talk as clearly as we can, because we are the voice of the company, and we reflect its personality. And then questions. Questions means that in regard to that point, we have two types of questions. We have two types of questions, or we have two cases. The first case when I know the customer. The first case when the customer asks the employee, and the second case when the employee asks the customer. So let's talk about the first case, when the employee asks the customer. In that case, when the employee asks the customer, I have two types of questions: open and closed questions. We ask open questions when we need information and to encourage the customer to talk, and that type of questions begins with what, why, and how. And we ask closed questions when we need information, when we need to control the conversation and to clarify the information. And that type of questions begins with what, is, are, do, or will. And we ask sometimes that type of questions requires or needs a yes or no answer. So I have to know what to say if the customer says no. In that case, if the customer says no, I'll try to know why by asking him a combination of open and closed questions, trying to know the real reason behind saying no, and then I'll try to convince him to say yes by showing the benefits and the advantages. And then what if that's about the first impression. That's about the first case when the employee asks the customer. So what if the customer asks the employee? And as I consider myself the employee, when the customer asks me a question, I'll be involved in one of two cases. The first case when I don't know the answer, and the second case when I do know the answer. So let's talk about each case. When I do know the answer, I'll try to know. I'll try to show the customer that I am reliable, and I'll try to focus on what I can rather than what I can't. And that means that I will say I'll find out for you, or here is what I can do for you. And then that's about the first case. And then the second case when I don't know the answer, and the second case when I do know the answer. The second case when I do know the answer, or when I know actually what to say. In that case I'll give him more information than what he or she asked for. And then courteous treatment. And that's about first impression, and then courteous treatment and positive attitude. Courteous treatment means that I can make a conscious effort and make it a habit to use the right words frequently, till it will be a natural part of my vocabulary and personality. And then positive attitude, or in regard to that point, attitude is everything, because I may not have a second chance to work with the same customers, and that means that I have to treat them well, and I'll do the right thing and what's ethical, and I will stay accountable and take responsibility for my actions. And what if a problem happens? In that case, if a problem happens, the customer will usually be mad at me. Or he will be mad, but that doesn't mean that he is mad at me. That's why I have to remain composed and calm, and try not to be defensive, especially when I take into consideration that he's not mad at me personally, and he's mad because of something wrong happened, and that's why he called me in the first place. And then I'll try to ask him to hold while I'm trying to. I'll ask him to hold while I'm trying to find out what happened. And then I'll offer a realistic time frame, instead of saying as soon as possible or right away, because these terms are different from one customer to another. And that means that the customer may think that it would take just a few minutes, and then he will discover and find out that it will take more than what he thought at first. And that's why I have to be meticulous about how long it will take me to finish the process. And then I have to and then in the worst case, if I discover that one of our employees is the main reason of what happened, I'd apologize to the customer on behalf of that employee, even if it means that I'll admit that our company made a mistake, because honesty is our policy and I have to be truthful. And then I'll offer my best solution. And then if I discover that one of our and then I'll offer my best solution. And then if I discover that the customer is still dissatisfied, I'll try to make him satisfied by offering an alternative solution which will be mutually acceptable. And that means that I'll make our customer satisfied. And making our customer satisfied will not only make our customer feel good, and making our customers satisfied will not only make them feel good, but will make them gain or renewed confidence in our company and even in me. Thanks. That's my whole introduction, and I hope that that's my whole introduction. Thanks. That's my whole introduction. Thanks. That's my whole introduction.